It's the moment you realize your favorite show's days are numbered. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 signs that a show you watch is going to get canceled.
Wow, I should have moved in a few days years ago! Come on, let's go back!
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at those bad omens that signal that one of your favorite shows may be on its last legs.
I just want to say how much this family really means to me.
Number 10. The will they won't they couple ends up together. In both comedies and dramas, a lot of the plot and tension come from having two characters that clearly like each other, but they just can't seem to make it work for certain reasons. Though this guessing game is often the driving factor behind a show's success, sometimes network execs will force creators to make those characters end up together, ruining the dynamic of the show. A well-known example is Moonlighting, a series whose most popular aspect was the romantic tension between Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd's characters.
Bitch. Bastard.
But after they finally got together at the end of the third season, the show lost its magic and was canceled 2 years later. Number 9. New young or child characters added.
Oh, Martin, she's adorable.
People love children, so clearly the best way to revitalize a dying show is to add a cute little kid or baby into the mix, right?
And you can stay for dinner if you like.
Thank you.
All right.
But
Yes?
I don't eat red meat.
Yeah, not really. One of the most widely cited signs of creative desperation, this trope is also known as Cousin Oliver syndrome, in reference to when the Brady Bunch added the young Cousin Oliver in the 5th season to punch up the dynamic of the series.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry. I was just trying to help.
The show was then promptly canceled. Other examples include when Raven-Symoné joined the 6th season of The Cosby Show as Olivia, the birth of Mabel near the end of Mad About You, and Leonardo DiCaprio's Luke in the last season of Growing Pains.
Excuse me! I thought today's subject was gravity.
Number 8. The showrunner gets replaced. Behind-the-scenes drama can signal the end of a show just as much as on-screen conflicts.
It doesn't matter. What matters is we're moving on.
Showrunners could leave to pursue other projects or because of problems with executives. While some shows survive this, like The Walking Dead and House of Cards, oftentimes it's a sign of internal strife.
Mr. President, this is beyond the norm.
I don't care.
An infamous example of this was when Dan Harmon was replaced by NBC after season 3 of Community, despite the show being adored by critics. 2 of the show's writers took over in season 4, but it didn't lead to better ratings, and was considered the weakest season. Even though Harmon returned for the 5th season, the show was canceled by NBC in 2014.
Maybe you should have spent less money on special effects.
Number 7. The show takes longer breaks than usual.
I'm afraid it's the decision of this board, in view of the 2 offenses, that you are on probation. I think I don't have to explain that a 3rd offense will mean you will be asked to leave the building.
This issue is actually becoming less relevant, as premium shows usually take longer breaks between seasons because they have fewer episodes and higher production values.
Why don't you say that right off, you cheap?
Like, remember when The Sopranos took an almost 2-year break between seasons 5 and 6?
Let me ask you something. Is your time more valuable than mine?
But on broadcast networks, if a show takes an extended hiatus, it usually means there are problems under the hood. 22-episode seasons are big investments, and the networks have to make sure they're getting their money's worth, which could result in some shows being held until the mid-season instead of fall.
Let's say we give them no choice but to keep themselves all together for a while.
If your favorite show is constantly being held until the back half of the TV season, it might be in danger of getting the axe.
I'm ready for you, have been for a while, so watch your ass. Good day.
Number 6. The show's in the news for the wrong reasons. Negative press coverage about conflicts between actors, creators, and executives, or unrelated off-screen problems could sway viewers from watching the show and advertisers from supporting it.
Oh, gee, Charlie, that may not be the best idea.
I don't recall asking for your opinion.
2.5 Men was somehow able to survive Charlie Sheen's public meltdown, but not every series is so lucky.
Charlie lived life on his own terms and never apologized for who he was.
Perhaps most infamously, HBO's horse racing drama Luck received positive reviews and even an early 2nd season renewal. However, when PETA raised questions about the treatment of the horses used on the show, which involved injuries and euthanization, HBO canceled it to stave off any more negative publicity. Basically, if you see anybody from a show you like in the tabloids, you should start getting worried.
Don't you wish this was you?
Loquita, a mental case.
Number 5, it's on the wrong network. Though there are some exceptions, you generally know what kind of shows the major broadcast networks tend to pick up. FX probably wouldn't air The Big Bang Theory, and CBS probably wouldn't air Fargo.
Oh, what a day.
So when a network airs a show that's different from their usual content, it might be gone by the end of the season. It's a miracle that Twin Peaks got as big as it did airing on ABC in the early 90s, as it likely wouldn't even be considered for broadcast TV today.
I've never seen so many trees in my life. As W.C. Fields would say, I'd rather be here than Philadelphia.
Network outliers often end up like the brutal cop show Southland, which only lasted one season on NBC, but found greater success after it was picked up by the edgier TNT.
There's no place to hide. You will be on TV.
Number 4, the show jumps the shark. Jumping the shark is an expression coined by radio personality John Hein and his roommate to describe one moment that can irrevocably change a show's fate, often for the worse. The term comes from a moment in Happy Days when the once grounded, realistic family show had Fonzie literally jump over a shark on water skis.
There he goes.
Other famous shark jumps include Bobby Ewing returning from the dead on Dallas,
Good morning.
the Connors winning the lottery on Roseanne, and Mulder leaving The X-Files. Shark jumps signify that the writers are straining for ideas, and thus pull stunts that might bring in viewers, but more often than not end up damaging the show. Not all shows are canceled immediately after these moments, but they definitely contribute to their eventual ends.
I lost him. I don't know what else I can say. I lost him.
Number 3, it takes a long time to announce a renewal. The most stressful thing for fans of any show is the waiting game. While hit shows usually get renewed mid-season or before spring, shows that are less successful or on the bubble will more than likely meet their maker in May, when it's all up to the networks.
You just stood there, chatting her up knowing she's about to die?
Well, we can't change anything. Today's the day Today's her day.
Shows that usually find themselves facing this fate are niche or genre shows, or older shows that the network wants to scrap in favor of trying something new.
It's hard to say goodbye.
It all comes down to the network upfronts that are usually held in May, where they present their fall schedules and issue their final judgments on the survival of their programs.
166 episodes of Bones just gone. It was my fault this time.
Number 2, it's already been on the bubble or canceled before. Imagine that a cult show you love gets renewed for another year at the last minute. Great, right? Well, that just means there's even more of a chance of it getting canceled down the road. This usually happens to genre shows with small but dedicated fan bases like Community, which NBC usually waited until late spring to renew before dropping it entirely in 2014.
Okay, guys, stop it now. Nobody wants to admit it's over, but come on.
Sometimes, though, fans can intervene and save their favorite shows. The original Star Trek was saved by a letter-writing campaign, and CBS's Jericho was actually revived after it was canceled, due to fans sending the network 20 tons of nuts.
If we have to, we can fight. We can fight anybody. We can fight all enemies. The only way that's going to happen is if we work together.
Unfortunately, these were the final seasons for both shows. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Are you looking for a fight, dork?
No, sir.
Well, you're gonna get one!
See you tomorrow, boss.
Later, guys.
Number 1, time slot change, especially if it's moved to Friday. There are a couple of reasons why a network moves a show from its original time slot. Sure, maybe they just want to see how it performs at a different time, but more often than not, it's because they don't have much faith in it.
Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Logically, I would have to say no.
The most time-honored method of killing a show this way? Put it on Friday. With very rare exceptions like the X-Files and Blue Bloods, the Friday night death slot has been responsible for the demise of many shows.
And without the law, nobody's safe.
Star Trek was moved there by NBC during its last 2 seasons, and despite its success with the X-Files, Fox tried several shows on Friday nights that barely lasted 1 year.
Looks like the partnership's been dissolved.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.